Welcome back, everybody, to episode 8 of the Washed Up Sports podcast. We are your Washed Up Sports hosts,
Patrick Quinn,
Louis Ortiz,
and I'm Bobby Hanscom. Today we'll feature an update of the NBA and NHL playoffs, who has been eliminated, and who our favorite matchups are moving forward. A recap of the first leg of the Champions League semifinal. Many random headlines in the sports world with multiple moments of silence. We will conclude the show with Washed Up Wagers, which will recap Wednesday's slate and announce who lost in April and who is going to get their chest hair waxed.
All right, well, let's kick it off. Let's start off with the NBA playoffs since the first round has now finally concluded here. We have the Celtics giving a nice gentleman's sweep to the Heat. Pacers took down the Bucks in 6, also did the Knicks to the 76ers, and my Mavs defeated the Clippers in 6 as well. And as of yesterday, the Cavs did take down the Magic in Game 7.
Orlando Magic! Orlando Magic!
So out of these 5 series, boys, what surprised you the most? Let's start with you.
I was going to say, let me go first. This fucking Orlando Magic and Cavs series, I am so goddamn pissed. But that's besides the point. No one that was on the road won a single game this series. So, I mean, that's honestly what surprises me the most. I figured at least Cleveland or Orlando would have at least won one game on the road. But seeing none, that was very surprising to me.
Orlando definitely had their chance in the Game 7 to close out. I think you said they were up 18 at one point.
18 with 4:42 left in the second quarter, and they blew that game, and they ended up losing by 12.
Yeah, that was the first game Donovan Mitchell was like, I'm still him. I think he almost dropped like 40 points. I mean, Paulo did well as well, but the role players for the Magic have seemed to not show up on the road, and the Cavs having that home court advantage was the difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, Franz really didn't show up that game.
How about you, Pat?
For me, I don't know if I would say the most surprising so-called matchup. I'm going to say more of the surprising performance for me was just the last 4 games for Jalen Brunson in that 76ers series. He was absolutely unconscious. I think 3 out of those 4 games, he averaged over 35 points. No Julius Randle, as we talked about before. Really just putting the team on his back and showing why he deserved that big contract and why he's the face of the Knicks was I didn't see coming. I thought he was a great player, but I didn't think he was this good of an elite scorer and can carry a team past a good team like the 76ers.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it's funny, too. So they're going to play Indiana, and Jalen Brunson's old head coach is Rick Carlisle.
Oh,
and if you
from
remember,
the Mavericks,
yeah,
right?
So if you guys remember back when Brunson was starting to play, he was averaging like 11, 12 minutes a game, and then all of a sudden Carlisle benched him for the entire playoffs and didn't play him. And then now look where he is now, and he's going off. So
yeah, that was when they were trying to figure out where he was going to play. Was Luka going to be the one? Was he going to be the one? Yeah, that matchup, that partnership never seemed to work in the Mavericks, and he's found a home in New York for sure. Yeah. What about you, Lou?
Well, speaking about the Mavericks, I think for me, so I know I did call it that they were going to win the series against the Clippers. I think the surprising aspect was that the backcourt of Kyrie and Doncic just worked so well. Like not making the playoffs last year, and then Kyrie coming out averaging 26 in that series, Doncic almost 30. I feel like just them two, that was just really surprising how they just carried that entire team. I thought it was going to be big role players coming off for the Mavs, but they just took care of business. That was a big letdown. Just having James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi. Even Kawhi wasn't playing some games. I mean, you would think with all that star talent on paper that the Clippers should have just smoked the Mavs. But that
was the most perfect Game 6 elimination game for James Harden. I think he had 16 points, went like 6 of 21 from the field. And I saw a report that came out today that the Clippers have offered Paul George contract talks, not a max deal, and there's big speculation about his future with the Clippers and that he might test free agency. So that'll be interesting. That'll get blown up real quick. Now, first round's over. Let's dive into the second round matchups. We'll quickly talk about them. You guys give your predictions, what you think, how the series is going to turn out. We'll start first in the West. We'll start with the Thunder's Mavericks series. Lou, are you riding with your Mavericks again, or do you think this young Thunder team has enough to get past them in this round?
I think the Mavericks will give the Thunder. I think the series is going to be a very, very good series. I think the Thunder are very young. They're not as experienced as the Mavs here, but if Doncic and Kyrie play like they did that first round, it's hard to stop that tandem. It really is. I think they have enough bodies, enough big men to cover the Thunder. So it's going to just be a fun series. I would ride with the Mavs here in 6, 7.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think Mavs will win this in 7. I think it's going to be a great series, like you said, Lou, and like the Thunder. They've had such a long time off. How much is that gonna affect them with how young they are? So, and Kyrie's been in this position before. He's an NBA champion, so it's like they have that mentality, and I think that
think about it too. You're the youngest team in the league. You're also the number one, so you have that pressure on you.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Thunder will most likely crack under that pressure, especially playing with that backcourt against Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, it's always the biggest debate over the rest versus rust. Like, is it good to get your guys 6-7 days off if you win a series really early, 4 or 5 games, or do you want to go to the game 6, game 7 to have that momentum going into the next series? It's really hard to tell, especially with this one, because the Thunder looked really good, but they beat a depleted New Orleans team. The Mavericks playing probably their best basketball they have all year. This series is a toss-up to me because I think if the Thunder play defense, and they can shut down Kyrie and Luka, the Thunder are deeper. But I don't want to all three of us agree on the exact same outcome of this series. But I think the Mavericks are going to win this series as well. I think the combination of Luka and Kyrie, done this before, know how to play in the playoffs, is just too much for this young Thunder team that I think in 2 or 3 years will be competing for an NBA Finals. But I just think it's too early for them right now. I have the Mavericks, I think, in 6.
No, I definitely think that the Mavs have a lot of different pieces to help them. I mean, like PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, but
no, I think it was definitely a good addition for them. But I think with Oklahoma City, they can definitely spread the floor as well. So if Chet's hitting those open threes and forcing PJ to kind of have to get out of his comfort zone, or Daniel Gafford to get out of their comfort zone inside the paint and around the paint to block the shots. But I don't know. I think this series will be all about offense. I think who can score the most points in this series is going to determine who's going to win. I know that's cliche. You score more points, you win the game. But in all honesty, both these teams aren't the greatest defensive teams. I think the Mavericks won't have an issue scoring, especially when you'll get 60, 70 points between your best 2 players.
Yeah. You mentioned the Thunder spreading the court too. I feel like with the additions that the Mavs got, that helps them spread the court. Kind of opens up the field for Luka and Kyrie too. And they're great facilitators. They're great playmakers. They can shoot the ball. They can float it. They can pass. They can look for that extra pass. So I think that's kind of what helped them pass that first series, and I think they'll keep that momentum going against the Thunder.
Now, my opinion, the most exciting matchup. Obviously, the first game has already happened in this series. Anthony Edwards went nuclear, had 40 points on the road against the defending champs. This is the Nuggets, the 2 seed versus the 3 seed Timberwolves. We'll start with you this time, Bill. How do you think this series goes? I know it's already 1-0 Timberwolves.
I think obviously the Nuggets get their comeback game next game and even the series up.
Isn't that tonight?
I think that is tonight,
yep.
Yeah. But I think they get that game tonight. But I think Minnesota actually takes the series in 6. I think Anthony Edwards, the way that everyone plays around him, this is Anthony Edwards' team.
Yes,
there's no question about it. And just the defense of Gobert and having Mike Conley as a veteran to help him out as well. They're a pretty deep team. So,
do you think the inexperience of Karl Anthony Towns and the inexperience of Anthony Edwards will be a factor though, because of the Nuggets did this already. They've been to multiple Western Conference Finals with this core team. Do you think that has to play a factor that the Nuggets are like, we lost a game, we've already understand how this works, where the Timberwolves are kind of playing with house money right now. They've never experienced this before.
Yeah, but I feel like it just puts that pressure on the Nuggets where they have to rely on Jokic and Jamal Murray, where I think the Timberwolves is just like Anthony Edwards has just been so dominant and so hot that there's just no stopping this.
They're just playing free.
Yeah.
They're just enjoying their time playing basketball. What about you, Lou? What do you think?
I mean, I would agree with Bobby here on the Nuggets getting their comeback game today. I do feel like experience plays a huge role, especially with this very young, inexperienced Timberwolves side. I think the Nuggets kind of know how to play in the playoffs. I think, yes, they're going to target Jokic and Jamal Murray kind of on the defensive end, but they have so many other people that can help spread the floor. Like if Michael Porter Jr. gets hot, he's hot, you know? And spreading out those big men, Rudy Gobert, Cat, like they're going to have to make some shots. They know that. They're going to have to make a lot of tough shots, but I think the Nuggets, I think this is going to be a dogfight, but I do feel like the Nuggets will be pulling this one off.
I will say too on that, like the Jokic Jamal Murray pick and roll is so lethal that if they have Gobert guarding Jokic and they go do that pick and roll and they switch, like Anthony Davis had trouble guarding Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be like for Gobert?
I guess it's just kind of just watching game 2 to see what adjustments the Nuggets do on that defensive and offensive side too.
Yeah, Michael Malone's a really good coach. I think he'll be able to make those adjustments. And like we talked about in the first series where it's going to be a scoring barrage, in my opinion, I think this one where the Nuggets don't have to score 110, 115 points to win a game. They're fine with scoring 92, 93 points. So I think the Nuggets know how to win games where the Timberwolves are still trying to figure out, okay, if we don't have this night where Anthony Edwards drops 40, 45 points, can we find a way to still win a game, you know? So I think that's where the Nuggets will have that advantage. I think it's going to be a great series. I think the Nuggets will win in 7 just because they have that home court advantage and they know what to do and they can win a game scoring 120 points. They can win a game scoring 85. I just think they know and have that experience and that'll become big when it gets later in this series. So I have the Nuggets advancing. So on to the Eastern Conference, we have the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I would love to say a sweep, but I can't do that. I would say season 5, nice gentleman's sweep against the Cavs here. Even with Kristaps hurt, I don't think this team can be beat at all in a 7-game series. I think there's just we got too many weapons on that court, and I just don't see the Cavs going past the Celtics here.
Yeah, honestly, like this was the better matchup for the Celtics than the Magic were. But who knows the health of Jared Allen as well. And also, I've actually looked into this too. The Cavs actually play better when they don't have Mobley or Jared Allen.
Yeah.
So that could help in their favor. But no, I mean, I think that Celtics will win this in 5. I think Donovan Mitchell will get lucky and like he did in against the Magic and put up 50. And I think that I still think that the Celtics will take this in 5.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement here that this would be a disappointing performance by the Celtics if this went more than 5 games. I think just with the oncoming, we as Celtics fans, we know how good Derek White is, and we know how much he can score, but kind of showing the rest of the world that on any other team, maybe he could be a number 1 or a number 2, not that role player, easily dropping 30 points a night where we talk about if Donovan Mitchell isn't going nuclear, who on that team is going to perform? Where if Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown doesn't have a spectacular game, you have Derek White, you have Drew Holiday, you have Peyton Pritchard who can knock down 3, Sam Hauser, even Al Horford will get you 12, 15 points if it's needed. I think the Celtics are just so deep and can score the basketball anywhere, and defensively, they're a very good team. It would be very disappointing if the Celtics didn't make this a gentleman's sweep. If this went to 6 or 7, it would be disappointing in my opinion.
Playoff Al, baby.
Playoff Al definitely steps up. It's going to be fun to see like how Joe Mazzulla does his rotations now without Kristaps on the floor.
Honestly, I see him using Keita a lot more. I think he'll bring Keita back, and I think he'll get some minutes in the series.
Well, so like you said, I don't even know if they have to do that because of the fact that you said that you think Jared Allen is hurt. If it's Evan Mobley, you can put Tatum on him, you can put Hauser on him. Like, Evan Mobley isn't the most inside, I'm going to dunk on you and body you in the paint. He likes to spread the floor a little bit more, can shoot the jump shot, can shoot the three.
If Horford can take care of Joel Embiid for his entire career, I think he'll be fine with Mobley.
They're gonna go back to how they did it last year and how they did it when they went to the finals, and that rotation of Al. I understand he's older, but we're not asking him to go out and have 25 points and 12 rebounds. We're asking him to play minutes, contribute defensively, pick up 8-10 rebounds if he can, because Tatum's been getting 12 to 15 rebounds in that opening series where you need that from your small forward getting into the paint. So I think Al will just be fine. He'll go right back into it like he has been and was a starter for them for years. And when Kristaps comes back, hopefully for the next round, it'll be just putting him back in and then figuring out that rotation from there.
Yeah, just a big experience thing too. Sorry to cut you off, but at the same time, the Caps, they haven't won a playoff series in years. So Celtics been here before, and I just think the experience will kind of just help the Celtics here.
So two things. One, Xavier Tillman will also get minutes in this series.
He'll get minutes before, I think.
I do too.
Yeah.
But two, this is the first time the Cavs have won a series without LeBron since 1993. So it's been a very long time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Celtics can't play with their food here. Just go up 2-0, win both games at home. Okay, really just pound it, win by 20 in the first game, win by 15 to 18 in the second game. Just literally just take the soul out of the Cavs. They might get lucky one game, and then hopefully game 5, just get over with, get rest, get healthy, and then move on into that Eastern Conference Finals.
Just can't drop one in the Garden again. Just cannot.
Nope.
Now, the last game, the New York Knicks, who I feel like is America's team right now. Everyone's loving the Knicks right now, it seems like, which always happens for the Knicks, though. It's the Knicks. They'll do well. They'll have a crazy first round. I think it happened last year. And then they go back to being the Knicks. They're playing the 6-seed Pacers, who beat up on a depleted, injured Bucks team that still went to 6 without Dame for one game, without Giannis for the entire series, with a banged-up Chris Middleton. The Pacers really did not look that impressive, in my opinion, which can all change. But I have the Knicks winning this series, and I have them winning it in 6. I don't think this game goes 6 or 7. I think they could even win it in 5. The Garden's absolutely buzzing right now. That the home court advantage is real in New York. MSG is a crazy place, and I think the Knicks are just riding really high off that first round series.
You see, I think that the Pacers give the Knicks such a terrible matchup. Like Halliburton guarding Brunson, that is a problem. Halliburton is very good defensively, where obviously Brunson, that's all his game really is on the offensive end. So it's if he gets shut down, sure, they may have Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo and other role players, but it's if they don't have Brunson putting up 30, 40 points, they're not going to win this series. And the fact that the Pacers having Tyrese Halliburton on him and then having him not having to go on the offensive end and really dominate Brunson has to, that's just a huge thing. So that's where I think that's gonna play a big factor in this.
So my contradiction to your point is the fact that Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo, they're playing 38, 40 minutes a game. That's not how the Indiana Pacers kind of run their organization or run their starting 5. They play 32, 35 minutes a game maybe. So it's when Halliburton comes off the court and you have TJ McConnell guarding Jalen Brunson. No, it's not.
That's what he's good. It's what he's there for. He's there to play defense.
Look what happened game 1 against Damian Lillard. He dropped 35 points in the first half.
Damian Lillard!
Look at the run Jalen Brunson's been on right now. He's averaging 36 points in the last 3 games.
I understand, but he is not Damian Lillard.
Okay.
Damian Lillard is a whole other animal.
You cannot expect TJ McConnell to do anything against Jalen Brunson.
6 minutes is all I need? Fine.
No.
I think Pacers take this in 6.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I think both these teams match up very well. It is going to play out to who's who's actually balling. Brunson has been having an unreal time, like an unreal stretch right now. You can always cool off, or you can just keep the momentum going. I feel like the Knicks kind of just rely too much on Brunson, whereas the Pacers can kind of be more of a like team ball, play team ball. I mean, Tyrese didn't really have a good beginning of the series, round one. Yeah, it was kind of an injured Bucks team, but Pascal Siakam can score the ball. You can drop it down low. I feel like Miles Turner will have a field day against Hartenstein. So, I mean, it's all about who just – this could be another series where the home team just takes every single game.
Yeah.
I do see this series. I would love to see this series go to 6-7, but I also think the Knicks are on a roll, and I do see them going in advancing 6 or 7 games.
And I think especially now that once you get into the semis and the conference finals and the NBA finals, it's about the stars showing up. And so we talk about all these role players. The stars need to show up. Like we watched it the other day when Anthony Edwards dropped 43 points. Like the stars need to show up for these teams to win. And I think like we talked about how Halliburton has not been showing up and Siakam has been, but Halliburton's your star on that team. He needs to show up in a big way, averaging high 20s, mid 20s, close to triple doubles if I think they want to make this series competitive.
I just don't see that. I just don't see it.
You also didn't see the Timberwolves sweeping the Suns. You also saw the Orlando Magic winning. You also saw the 76ers winning, the Clippers winning. You're seeing a lot of stuff.
8 episodes in, we've already had a lot of hot takes.
Hey, I'm Billy Hot Takes.
You're Billy something takes.
So shifting over to hockey now, round 1 is also in the books. Here are some of the results. We have the Avs winning 4 straight games after they dropped game 1 to the Jets, 7-6, where now the Jets coach is now retired. He said,
Cue it.
He said, I'm out.
Carolina Hurricanes defeated the New York Islanders 4-1. Edmonton Oilers defeated the Kings 4-1. The Canucks beat the Preds 4-2. The Bruins beat the Maple Leafs in Game 7 on Pasta's overtime game-winning goal.
Jim Montgomery told him to show up. What did he do? He showed up, baby. He showed up. Zoom in. Pasta, baby.
And the Dallas Stars defeated the Golden Knights in Game 7 last night. Here are your matchups for round 2. We have the Western Conference. We have the Dallas Stars versus the Colorado Avalanche. We have the Edmonton Oilers versus the Vancouver Canucks. And on the Eastern Conference, we have the Boston Bruins versus the Florida Panthers, which is a rematch of last year's first round series. And then we also have the New York Rangers versus the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Rangers are currently up 1-0. Which one of these matchups in the conference semis catches your guys' eye? I'm going to start with Pat on this one.
I think it's definitely the Rangers, Carolina. Arguably the 2 best teams in the East this year. If you followed, Rangers winning the President's Cup, Carolina making a lot of moves at the trade deadline, always being there at the end, never getting over that hump to the Stanley Cup Finals. This is going to be an absolute dogfight, in my opinion. A lot of people had Carolina as the favorite to win the Stanley Cup this year as well. So whenever you have the favorite to win the Stanley Cup versus the President's Cup trophy winners, it's going to be a real good series. So I think that series will be must-watch. Obviously, Game 1 was yesterday. The Rangers got out to a really good early lead. They're up 3-1. Then Carolina made it 3-2. Then it was 4-2, and then it was 4-3. So really, really tight game. Going to be very exciting to watch.
Nope. I mean, I can't really go against the Bruins here. I feel like there's a little unfinished business going on with the Panthers and the Bruins after, especially last year. Bruins were favorited last year. Obviously, President's Trophy winners breaking history with the seasons and regular points in the regular season. But now the roles are switched here. Panthers are favored. Bruins are
heavy favorite.
And I mean, I see this going into another 7 games, and I do love the Bruins right now. I like the way they're playing. You can't write anything better than the Bruins beating the guys who knocked them out in the first round last year.
Another rest versus rust debate there with Florida.
Panthers getting almost what?
Yeah,
7 days?
it went 6 games, I think, but the games that Florida won against Tampa, they just dog rolled them. I think they won like 6-1 in the last game, and the Bruins had to scratch and claw their way out of that series after being up 3-1. Every Bruins fan was, is this going to fucking happen again? Are we serious right now? And the emotions of winning in overtime like that, especially against Toronto. So, yeah, that's going to be another really good series.
A lot of players in that first round for the Bruins didn't really play to their potential, especially Pastrnak. And, I mean, they just needed to get called out a little bit. I feel like the games 5 and 6 were kind of a wake-up call, and they really held the Maple Leafs down in that game 7. I think it just brought them. It just gave so much momentum to the Bruins just going into Sunrise, Florida for tonight. And
Charlie Coyle needs to step up big time. That'll be.
I mean, who didn't step up last year? Hampus. Oof.
Lou struggles pronouncing
I think it's Hampus.
Is it Hampus or Hampus?
Regardless, he scored the big goal for them.
He scored the tying goal, and then he assisted on the game-winning goal. So, I
think the big thing, too, with them, like, Swayman's our guy now, too, is a big thing where they're not debating it before every game.
That was huge last series, too, because we would always just say, like, who has the hot hand
throwing in Swayman in that game 7 like that. Yeah. Now okay, Swayman is our guy. Right. We don't have to worry about if Swayman has maybe 1 or 2 bad games, okay, bring in Allmark for 1 game, but going into this series, it's Swayman's team. Now, what about you, Bobby? What's your most intriguing conference semifinals matchup?
Honestly, I think it is Edmonton versus Vancouver. With the star power that Edmonton has, can they finally get over the hump and beat the number 1 team in the West? Yeah, so let's see if they can actually do something and see if McDavid can become an elite and have his potential of actually becoming that guy who can be an all-time great, who is one of the GOATs, because without an NHL championship, I feel like he is not going to get the recognition.
I think he's, for one, already there as one of the GOATs, in my opinion. And I think this series this could be a sweep. I think the Oilers could sweep this series because Vancouver's all-star goalie's out for the remainder of the playoffs, which is absolutely huge. I think the Oilers might win this game in 4 or 5, if I'm being honest. Now, just a quick recap of last week's first legs of the Champions League semifinals. First game we had was Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. Real Madrid got off to a quick lead, answered by 2 unanswered goals from Leroy Sané and Harry Kane to make it 2-1 until Vinny Jr. scored a PK in the 83rd minute. That next leg is actually in 2 days on Wednesday. Dortmund versus PSG first leg at Dortmund. 1-0 Dortmund. Early goal in about the 33rd minute by Nicholas Füllkrug. PSG missed an unbelievable amount of chances. I think they hit the crossbar or the post 3 or 4 times. Dembele missed a sitter. Now going into the second leg, will PSG come back here? What do we think?
I mean, we saw it last round against Barca. They came back. I do feel like PSG, Kylian Mbappe, I feel like he's going to perform, especially coming back at home, second leg. They have that advantage. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dortmund just says, park the fucking bus against them. They could have lost 5-1.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with all those missed chances that PSG had, they're definitely going to keep hammering them. But I do like Dortmund moving on. I think it's going to be a close game.
Changing your opinion.
Yeah. No.
Okay, the Yellow Wall marches into Wembley for the final.
Hey, Marco Reus's last season with Dortmund, you know?
Well, actually, we'll touch on that later in the random news, but I think PSG will win this. I think the fact that it was only 1-0 with all the chances that PSG missed, and I mean, watching that game, Dortmund did have some chances to make it a 2-0, 3-0 game, which would completely change how this second leg looks. So I think it only being a 1-goal difference on aggregate really gives PSG that fighting chance, and I think PSG will move on to the final. Now, Real Madrid at home with a 2-2 draw on aggregate with Bayern.
this might be another penalty shootout to move on, honestly. I mean, two top dogs in European championships for God knows how long. You know, Real Madrid always finds a way to win, but right now Bayern they're in great form right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they keep it up, I know it's tough in the Bernabeu. It's always tough to play there, but I don't know. I like a PK shootout, and I feel like Bayern has more of an advantage on the PKs.
Wow. Okay.
Even after Real beat Man City in PKs?
I feel like that. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, like yes and no, but I mean, you got Harry Kane, who's probably one of the best penalty scorers ever, and Sané obviously too. Everyone, it's just I honestly have no idea. It's going to be a great game though.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very good game. I think the fact that Real Madrid has locked up La Liga as well is huge. They can kind of, where they didn't really play a lot of their starters at the weekend, rested them for this game on Wednesday. Getting that extra day of rest, not playing on Tuesday, playing on Wednesday, is going to be huge. Like we talked about before, the addition to Eder Militao being healthy is huge for them at the center back position.
And do you think Russ will play a factor though?
See, I don't think they'll start him. I think if they go up 1 or 2 goals on aggregate, they bring him in around like the 70th minute to kind of just see out the game, where you have that all-pro center back as an option to come off the bench is huge for them, where they haven't with all the injuries they've had to David Alba being hurt, him being hurt, Courtois being hurt. So I think it's huge for them to get that piece back. And I just think there's something about Real Madrid in the Champions League. We've talked about it numerous times, where they just understand what they want to do. Carlo Ancelotti knows what to do in Europe. It'll be a good game, but I think Madrid will either win this game 2-0 or 3-1 and move on to the final.
You think Jude Bellingham actually shows up? Because I know Bayern did a great job of containing him last game.
I don't know if he needs to. I don't know. I think when you have to put so much attention on somebody like that, that's when other players get the space they need. Like
right.
we saw it in that first leg of the Bayern game, where they were putting so much attention on Bellingham, and then Vinicius can go out and score a brace. Put so much attention on Bellingham, Rodrigo can go out and perform. Toni Kroos can go out and perform. Tchouameni, Camavinga, they have enough pieces and they're deep enough where if Bellingham does not perform, there's other players that can get the job done, in my opinion.
All right, to start off our random news and sports segment, let's give a moment of silence to some recently eliminated playoff teams who are currently packing their bags and hitting the course. Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, Orlando Magic, Bobby, Los Angeles Clippers, the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Islanders, Nashville Predators, Vegas Golden Knights, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the LA Kings. And one more thing, Jimmy Butler has to focus on being healthy in the postseason rather than run his fucking mouth. Shout out Pat Riley there.
Don't let us get one.
All right, some other recent happenings in the sports world here. We got the greatest 2 minutes in sports happened over the weekend. The 150th Kentucky Derby. What a race, boys. Mystic Dan, 20-1 odds. They had a 3-way photo finish. Mystic Dan, Sierra Leone, and Forever Young. Closest 3-horse finish since 1947. We also have NASCAR. Kyle Larson edged out Chris Buescher to win by a whopping 0.001 seconds. The closest finish in NASCAR history. That's great. You can't zoom enough in that photo to see who won.
And watching the final stretch, I think who ended up winning hit into the 17 car to kind of slow him down, and then was able to just get like the slightest of
millimeter
inches.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it was absolutely bonkers. Switching away into the baseball world, into the major leagues, last week we had a baseball brawl. Those are always exciting when those happen because it's not like football where you have the helmets on. They really swing at each other. I mean, the best one we ever saw was Carlos Rondon what's his name?
Jose Batista.
Batista and the guy from the Rodinodor, where absolutely just laid one on him. But yeah, we had a benches clearing. Jose Syria hit a home run and then was hit by a pitch next at bat. And then in his final at bat, grounded out, and the pitcher stared at him. Some not nice words were said towards each other. Probably the magical words were said, and all hell broke loose. Now, do we think this is good for baseball, seeing this, or is this something like the NHL where they're trying to wean it out more and more and more?
I mean, as someone who doesn't occasionally every day watch baseball, when I see a fight, I'm watching that game.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you're
And I
watching
feel
the
like
clips from that.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's bringing eyes to the sport.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like I love it. Brings back how it used to be. If you remember Pedro and the Yankees and all those fights that the Sox and Yankees had, like with Veritek and A-Rod.
Like the picture right there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I love it. But also on the pitcher's aspect of him talking shit to Jose Siri, don't give up a fucking home run.
Yeah.
Don't give him a meatball, man. Like that's all it is.
And then the pettiness of intentionally hitting him afterwards.
Yeah. Like if
You were
I'm hitting a
asking
home
for
run,
it.
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm hitting a home run, like if
I'm
I'm
gonna
an everyday
celebrate.
baseball player, I'm gonna fucking celebrate. Be like, haha, fuck you. I hit a nuke.
It's just like
Exactly.
a pitcher striking somebody out with the bases loaded. You know, they're going to celebrate too. They're going to talk their shit. They're going to do the fist pump. They're going to scream and yell. It's no different.
Exactly.
If you don't want it to happen, don't let it happen.
Exactly. The thing is, like, they don't want shit like this to happen where, like, they hit someone. They know stuff's going to start tumbling down. So it's like, all right, we got to make sure, boom, you're done. See you later. This isn't going to happen again, because if not, you're going to get tossed too. So I feel like if they want to wean down on that stuff, they kind of have to do that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, but I think MLB umpires in general are a topic for conversation for another day. They're just awful in all aspects, it seems like right now, between terrible strike calls, fans in the stands getting managers kicked out, bad rulings everywhere. I think MLB has a real umpiring issue, but that's a conversation for another day. This is just another one you add on to the list of can they figure it out.
I agree. Now, so going into college basketball, we had a big transfer portal segment on the last pod where I was correct for once, on basketball.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. It would be a dead squirrel, Bobby.
John L. Davis going to Arkansas, joining Coach Cal there. And then also with Lewis saying Kentucky was on the loser end of the transfer portal segment.
I think they heard me. I think the basketball gods heard me, and they were like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
They just placed us.
Yes.
Placed them right in our hands.
The Mormon coach of BYU saw this podcast and goes, "Lewis, I'm going to change your opinion on this squad right
Kobe
here."
Bryant,
man."
baby.
And they got Kobe Bryant from Dayton, and they got Kirk Krissa from West Virginia, and he was also a former standout at Arizona as well. So no, I know you said that they were the losers of the last week, but what do you think now, Lou?
I mean, you can't really just judge by two players just coming in. I feel like it's just see how they play, because this is going to be a complete new Kentucky basketball system than we've seen in probably over 2 decades now. So, I mean, it's really hard to tell very early, but we are getting these pieces now, and now it's kind of like showing like, okay, we've moved on. Now let's get to work here. Bringing in the top 3-point shooter in the country. That's huge.
The best one.
Yeah. What do you have? 50? I think 52%.
Almost 50. Yeah, something like
I thought he was like over 50 or something. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I mean, Kentucky's back, baby. I feel like they are back, just differently. But we're back.
Until they lose in the first or second round of the NCAA tournament.
All right, buddy. That's moving on. All right, other notable headlines here. We have the Los Angeles Lakers head coach, Darvin Ham. He's been fired after 2 seasons. He was Western Conference Finals trip last year, 90 wins in 2 years, including this year, having a 47, almost a 50-win season. Jason Kidd was rumored to be linked to the Lakers job. Mavericks just inked him to a extension on Monday.
Yep.
So someone who he haven't seen on a basketball court in forever, Lonzo Ball, just picked up his $21.4 million player option with the Bulls for next season.
Good for him.
Just
I mean,
Good
it's
for him.
great for him.
absolute bonkers. The guy hasn't played basketball in a year and a half, and he just made $22 million.
His agent's there. He has a good agent. I'll tell you that. I mean, 3 knee surgeries. Let's see. Like, everyone was unsure he'll play again, and he's so young, 26.
You know what's crazy too? Like, ever since Lonzo Ball did that, like look at this see the day. He hasn't played since.
Yeah.
No,
so
he definitely fucked his shit up doing that.
Yeah.
Other surprise here. Pat Bev got a little into got into it with a fan. He whipped the ball at him, and then they just gave it back, and he whipped it back to his head. You know. He also told an ESPN reporter that she couldn't interview him because he isn't subscribed to his podcast.
He always says that.
He
said that all year. He's like, you subscribe to the pod? Nope. All right, I'm not answering your questions. You subscribe to the pod? Yep. All right, I'll be talking to you. Pat Bev just is always in the news for nothing related to basketball. He's a really bad loser. He's a fucking asshole sometimes, but I would love him on my team, and I would hate him if he wasn't. That's kind of just who Patrick Beverly is.
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree. Lastly here, kind of big news. OKC Thunder, first game against the Mavs. You have to, when you buy your ticket, you have to be within the state of Oklahoma. They are not allowing anyone from the state of Texas to attend this game 1. I just want to quickly ask you guys, what do you guys feel about that? It's bringing back soccer vibes.
They are worried about the home court advantage. That is what that tells you. Is they're very worried about that.
I think it's we just watched what happened with the 76ers.
Yeah.
You know, when it's a 76ers home game, but there's more Knicks fans in the crowd, that's a problem. Right. So as the Oklahoma City organization, all right, how can we try and limit that as much as possible? The entire state of Texas, you're not getting tickets, so our fans can get the majority of them. If there's still some garbage left, then yeah, maybe those can go. But the whole thing of having a home court advantage is you want the majority of the fans to be your fans.
And I just want to correct myself. I did say only residents from Oklahoma. It was actually residents from Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Kansas. But no one from Texas.
Yeah.
So. Or any other state.
Or any other state. Wow, we can't even go. Fuck. I don't even want it.
And now, we talked about Champions League earlier, but now just some quick news in the world of football, or soccer for our Americans here. Marco Reus, after an unbelievable career at Dortmund, one of the staples for that organization, never leaving when the transfers were there and he could go to a better club. He's now officially leaving Dortmund after 12 years. I see him probably going to the MLS, would not shock me, or he could go to Saudi Arabia and get some money. I think he's done playing in competitive soccer in those top 5 leagues in the world. English Championship side, Ipswich Town has earned promotion to the Premier League after, oh my God, it's been 25, 30 years that they had to fight their way back. They were in League 1, League 2, all the way down. It's a great story to see. That's always exciting when you see these championship sides trying to fight to be promoted at the end of the year. It's a great story.
Big thing, too. 2 years ago, they were in the 3rd division.
Yeah.
So they've been promoted back-to-back seasons, which is insane.
Very insane. You don't typically see them get promoted to the championship and then immediately the year after get promoted then to the Premier League.
Mark my words, but I believe they had 93 points in the championship this year.
Yeah, they came second. Yeah, they came second behind Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then lastly, it doesn't just happen in the NBA or in the NFL. There's people betting on sports everywhere. Sandro Tonali, formerly with AC Milan, Italian guy, had this big transfer move to Newcastle last summer. Well, he's been suspended for sports gambling. He's been out actually the entire season for this, and now they just increased his suspension for another 2 months. So
that's always awesome.
That's what you want out of your star player getting signed to your team. He can't play.
Speaking of star players, we got a star boxer, Ryan Garcia, who tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs against in his upset win over Devin Haney. In MLB news, we have last year's batting champion, Luis Arias. He got traded to the San Diego Padres, which I think is a huge ad for them. We have Stephen A. Smith of ESPN being blasted by the public for insulting Mike Trout's injuries, questioning how is he always hurt as a baseball player, where baseball, you still very easy to get hurt. I think it's bullshit. I mean, anybody gets hurt. I mean, if you look at, I'm just going to use 2 Rangers players as examples because it's too easy to do right now with them, but their rookie left fielder, he is now out 2 to 4 months because he has I believe, like a grade 2 hamstring strain.
Mm-hmm.
And then their young third baseman, Josh Young, he is out for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken wrist. So it's very easy to get hurt in baseball.
I'd have to agree. Stephen A. Smith's never played an entire baseball season. Like, this guy sits at a desk with his hairline in the middle of his head and just talks out his ass. Okay? Mike Trout, yes, has had injuries in the past, but injuries happen. It's a part of sports. It's 162 games, swinging the bat as hard as you can, sprinting, stopping, diving everywhere. Like, Mike Trout's one of the best baseball players I've ever seen in our career or our lives and baseball's life in general. It's just part of it. Yes, some people are more injury prone than others, but just this Stephen A. doesn't know what he's talking about here.
Anyways, in NFL news, Odell Beckham Jr. signed a 1-year, $8.5 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. Also, we have J.J. Watt in the news again. He's saying that he is going to unretire if Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans says he really needs him. He says that he's been training and staying in football shape this entire time. He said the same thing to him last year, but we'll see if that ends up happening.
I think the Texans are all right without him.
I'd say so, too. I think the only way that he would actually come back is if Will Anderson is out for a season-ending injury. But then at that point,
And then Danielle Hunter also has to get hurt, in my opinion.
Yeah, but then it's like, how well is J.J. Watt going to play when he hasn't played in 2 years?
Yeah.
So
His heart was beating out of rhythm, had to go in and get it shocked or fixed, and then finish that season and then retired right there.
I will say when his last year with the Cardinals, too, he wasn't very good.
No.
So. Anyways, and finally, last night was a star-filled 3-hour-long roast of Tom Brady that took place on Netflix last night, hosted by Kevin Hart. We had comedians, former teammates, longtime coach Bill Belichick, and Patriots owner Robert Kraft were all in attendance to the show. I will also say Giselle was also there last night.
She was, and she was talking
Or
about
from Burgundy would call it GCL.
Many jokes about the Patriots cheating scandals, Tom Brady's marriage with Giselle, Kraft's massage jokes, but that one did not fly, according to Tom.
Tom stopped that shit real quick.
Oh, yes, he did. Hey, enough of that.
Yeah.
I love Robert Kraft. I love that shit again. Okay.
Anyways, to finish up the episode, we have everybody's favorite washed up wagers. Guys, we finally have a loser.
I wonder who it could be.
Bill! We got comeback was real, fellas.
Yeah,
Told
so
ya.
It's fucking me, of course. It all came down to the end with the NBA series matchups where Lewis ended up taking the Mavs, who won in 6, and I took the Magic, who ended up choking Game 7 yesterday.
Orlando Magic.
Where?
Anyways, fuck you, Pat. A recap from last pod. Pat finished the month in first place with a 14-7 record after going 2-1 on Wednesday's slate. His wins were the Oilers Game 5 versus the Kings, the Pirates versus the Athletics, who had no runs for the no-run first inning. His loss was Kyrie Irving. He went under 25.5 points. He had 14. Pat told him to go over. Lewis came back, dickhead, to finish in second place with a 10-11 record after going 2-1 on the last pod. His wins were the San Diego Padres to beat the Cincinnati Reds and Connor McDavid to have over 1.5 points, and he ended up having 3 assists in Game 5 versus the Kings. His loss was Jason Tatum, who went under 2.5 threes with 2.
Happens.
His series matchup was the Mavericks, who obviously ended up winning in Game 6 against the Clippers. And I forgot to say this, but Pat's was the Cavs, who beat my Magic. Anyways, I finished in last place with a fucking disappointing 9-11-1 record after going 1-2 on Wednesday. My one win was Vegas. Golden Knights plus 1.5 in Game 5 versus Dallas Stars. My losses was the Braves-Mariners game to go over 7.5, where they ended up having fucking 7. Dickheads. Dickheads. And the Clippers also lost Game 5 to the Mavs, which I also took to dickheads. My series winner was the Magic. Fucking dickheads. Who lost in Game 7.
So, Bill, you know what that means. A couple episodes ago.
Let's give our picks first, so I don't have to give the picks, and then we can do it.
Okay.
I will be getting my chest hair waxed off, but first I want to give us our picks.
So, after Bill does his punishment, we are now into a new month, which means a fresh slate, new bets for everybody. Everyone starts 0-0. The bets will be over on June 7th. So from May 7th to June 7th, we will have 3 bets every episode. Haven't decided a punishment yet. Tune into the next episode where we will decide what the next punishment will be. I will start off. I have the Colorado Avalanche beating the Dallas Stars in Game 1 at plus 105. I have the New York Yankees minus 122 over the Houston Astros. And then I have the Celtics minus 11.5 in Game 1 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Plus 612 odds, $10 to give you 71-21.
I have the Mavericks plus 3.5 against the Thunder. Game 1. I have the Braves money line. I believe they're playing at home against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I have the Canes Rangers Game 2 to go under 5.5. That's going to be plus 445. $10 wins you a whopping $54.59. We are starting hot the beginning of the month. We are not falling behind.
No Diamondbacks this month.
Nope. Actually, Bobby took my Diamondbacks.
I will say that, yes. So now that Lewis kind of said one of mine, I took Diamondbacks money line. I think they're going to take care of that game with Zach Gallen on the mound. I also have Cale Makar having over 0.5 points in the game, in the Avs game against the Stars. I also have Jason Tatum over 41.5 points, rebounds, assists. I think those 3 are all locks. I am going fucking 3-0 this week. I am starting off hot. That is plus 377, $10 to win you 47.71. Thank you very much. I'm going 3-0.
Zell, just make sure you clip this one.
We're gonna need a Diamondbacks counter because if he's taking my Diamondbacks, that's not allowed. That's not allowed.
We got to make sure we clip that for Bill going. I'm going 3-0 this week, starting off hot.
All right, everybody. Punishment time.
This is what we're waiting for, boys.
We'll give him the...
So what do we even...
Three good strippies right here. 1, 2, 3.
Nah, I think you gotta go. You gotta go collarbone.
Now, there's some good meat right here, dude. That's a good one.
Can I get that middle one?
Holy shit, dude. This is happening.
Wait, Pat, you should put it on him. No,
you're not doing it yourself.
No. We're doing it. We're doing it.
All right. Here, I'll just start getting this one done. Put it on, please. Just not on my nipple, please. God.
Don't do it.
Don't pull it
Hold
off
on,
yet.
hold
Don't
on.
pull it off yet. Don't pull it off yet.
Don't pull it off yet.
You gotta put a punch on.
Make sure it's stuck in. Oh my God! Look at all the
Yeah,
hair,
dude, this is gonna hurt so much. This is
One
Here,
on the
let
belly.
me just sit on this. Very cool. Jesus Christ. Oh, so after we rip this one, I want that.
oh fuck. All right.
Lean back. You gotta keep yourself flat.
All right.
All right, you want a countdown?
No, just fucking go.
3. That didn't get anything.
That
Oh
one got
my
nothing.
God.
Still on there.
Holy ew!
That's so gross.
You said you wanted it right here.
You gotta get that middle, John.
Yeah, let's just get it all. Do we have to like press it down or something, man?
I don't know. What does that thing say?
What are the instructions here?
I told you it should shape.
Pull. Hold the skin taut with your free hand, and one quick moment. Pull the strip off with the other hand.
Not bad.
This one, I got that one clean.
Yeah. That's
Look,
good.
press it and rip.
All right.
You gotta really
All right, ready?
push it down there.
3. Oh! Uh-oh.
try the bottom side. Can we get a slow-mo of this?
This hurts so much.
I know that one hurt a lot.
That one
hurt me, dude.
The first couple, those were fine. That one hurt a fucking ton.
Yeah, you gotta really massage it in there. I think that's the goal. You can see like the sticky adhesive on your
it's fucking
chest.
gross, dude. Oh shit! All right, ready?
Oh.
Right here.
No, right there. Don't you worry, man. Right there. Let me just
Give it a good press down, boys.
Emily goes, I wish I could be there for this.
Mm.
I was like, no,
Should
glad you're not.
should ask Ryan or Garrett if they want to
Celeb rip, yes. No, that's slow.
No, ribbit.
Oh.
Oh, you got a big patch right there.
Dude, that
Have to
patch, you're
go
gonna
again.
keep it.
Last one.
My chest hurts.
Like, would you want it more even?
I'm just gonna shave it off.
I'll pull this way. I'll pull this way.
Fuck.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
That was a ripper.
Oh.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in to episode 8 of the Washington Sports Podcast.
I just looked at it. I just saw you.
We release every Tuesday and every Friday on YouTube and Spotify. Like this video. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The username can be found in the description. Thanks for watching, and as always,
Stay washed.